So I was digging around the junk bins at the Dayton Hamvention and I came across this cool box. It's a 31 4A trunk test set from Berry Electronics. Basically what this device is it's a blue box phone phreakers used to use, but it's the professional version. It's what the Telco company used to use to test the trunks and do exactly what the phone phreaks were doing back in the day with their homebrew boxes. Now, this is the professional version, and I would have given my eye teeth to have something like this. And one of the cool things is it actually came in a blue box. I don't know if that's standard or was just coincidental, but I thought it was kind of cool, so I bought it. I had to take it out of the box, put the guts on the bench because the batteries in it had corroded. And it's actually a pretty old device. Some of the dates on it date back to 1986. So I thought I'd put together a little video, show you how blue boxing used to work back in the day, since I had one. And it was kind of fun just to reminisce about it. So some of you might recognize the keys on here, but one of the things that's different about these keys versus the keys on your touch-tone phone is that there's an extra row of keys first off. But second, this thing also does different types of touch tones. It does the standard DTMF touch tones, but it also does MF tones, which are multi-frequency tones. And it also does another special tone called an SF tone. And the SF tone is the single frequency tone, or the 26 hertz signal that is used to signal a trunk that it's on hook. And that's the famous 2600 that you hear about everywhere. So, let me show you what standard touch tones sound like. Pretty standard, everybody knows those. But these are multi-frequency tones. A little different. So, what you would do when you wanted to take control of a trunk or a tandem line is you would first dial an 800 number. So you'd pick up the phone, you'd wait for a dial tone, you'd dial, and you wait for that person to pick up or answer. And then you tell them, oh, sorry, this is the wrong number, or you might not even say anything at all. And then you would throw the equipment into off hook, and this would emit the 2600 hertz signal. Now, the remote end would be listening for control tones. Back in the day, the phone company didn't have all these data lines like it does now, so it had to rely on the actual voice channel to do in-band signaling, is what they called it. So when you were talking to another switch in another area, you would actually send all of your routing codes and everything else using these special tones over the same channel the person would use their voice on. The only difference is that the phone company didn't expect anybody to know what those tones were or how to do this. So when a trunk was not in use and the line was hung up, you would hear this on it. And that's how the remote end knew that the trunk was not in use and that the line was hung up. So if you did that while you were on the line, your local connection would stay up, but the tandem line that you would be on would think that you had hung up, and it would go into its kind of sleeping mode, waiting for commands, and you could tell it what to do. So what you would do is you would dial the 800 number like we just did, you'd send this for 2 seconds, and you'd hear a familiar beep kerchunk type noise, and then you would know that you had quote-unquote seized the trunk, and then you could send your commands to it. And you'd start out with a KP, so you'd send that, and then you would dial the number that you wanted to dial, pretty much. There were some other codes and things that you could do, some for routing through satellite, some for going overseas, different things like that. And then you'd end it with ST, and that would connect your call, and you'd be done. Now this box here actually has an auto send feature, which would have been pretty cool back in the day. So you could actually program it to do the touch tones. We could do the 1-800-555-1212, and then you could do your multi-frequency tones here. And we could even enter in a second grouping set. Now when we go off hook, and when we connect, and there you go, you'd be connected. So that's how it used to be done back in the old days. Hope you've enjoyed this. I had fun playing around. And maybe I'll find something new at Dayton next year to show you.